Good morning, children. I hope that you are all well. We are going to be doing our English lesson. We are going to do our listening and speaking, and we are going to recap on the life cycle of a salamander. So, learners, do you remember this diagram? Yes, this is the diagram of the salamander life cycle. Do you remember where it starts and where it ends? And what each stage is called? So here, learners, as you can see, I have labeled this diagram for you to see. Let us go through it. Number 1 is where the eggs are laid in water. That is the first stage. The second stage is the newly hatched larva. Here you can see number 2 is written. Number 3 is the maturing larva stage. And number 4, which is the last stage, is the adult stage. What do salamanders eat? Do you remember what they eat? Yes, salamanders eat insects, small fish, worms, snails, and other smaller salamanders. There are pictures at the bottom. Let us go through them. The first picture shows a picture of insects. The second picture shows a picture of small fish. The third picture shows a picture of worms. The fourth picture shows a picture of a snail. And the last picture shows a picture of the salamander. Salamanders release a poison that tastes bad or causes pain. They lash their tail to defend itself. If their tail breaks, they can grow a new tail. The detached tail keeps wriggling to distract the enemy while it escapes. Humans pollute and destroy their habitats. Predators like turtles, squirrels, and snakes prey on salamanders. Now we have come to the end of our listening and speaking lesson. Children, please complete your activity in your workpack. Also remember, learners, there are some activities that you will find in your workpack later on in the week that relates to what we have discussed on the salamander. So, learners, we are going to be doing our phonics lesson. It says fill in the double consonant, which is our ZZ sound at the end of words to complete the words. Let us go through these words together. F, R, I, Z, Z makes frizz. B, A, Z, Z makes buzz. Let's go through that again. F, R, I, Z, Z makes frizz. B, A, Z, Z makes buzz. So now, learners, you will be able to complete your activity in your workpack. Now let us fill in the double consonant, which is the FF sound at the end of words to complete the words. Children, please remember, this activity you will find later on in your workpack. Let us go through the words ending with the FF sounds. K, L, I, F, F makes cliff. K, A, F, F makes cuff. Let's say that again. K, L, I, F, F makes cliff. K, A, F, F makes cuff. Now, learners, we have come to the end of our phonics lesson. Please do not forget to complete your activities in your workpack. Learners, we are now going to be doing our writing lesson on present, past, and future tense. It says change from present to past tense and then to future tense. So let us read the sentence. Jill is baking a cake. Remember, this is in the present tense. Now we're going to change that sentence to past tense. So the sentence will change to Jill was baking a cake. Now let us change the same sentence to future tense. So the sentence will change to Jill will bake a cake. Let's go through another example. We are playing netball. Remember, children, this is the present tense. Let's change that sentence to past tense. So it will change to we were playing netball. Now let's change the same sentence to future tense. So it will be we will play netball. Now we have come to the end of our writing lesson. Remember, learners, you will come across this activity in your workpack later in the week. So now, boys and girls, we are going to be doing our English comprehension reading. This story is called Jabu Went to the Zoo. As you can see, learners, there is a picture of the zoo and there are different animals at the zoo. There is also a speech bubble which says, I went to the zoo with my family. Now let us read. We went by taxi because it was cold. So children, I am going to read this again and you will read it with me. We went by taxi because it was cold. We saw many interesting animals. We saw zebras, lions, and buck. Let us read this again. You will read it with me. Remember, children, to stop where you see a full stop and pause where you see a comma. We saw many interesting animals. We saw zebras, lions, and buck. I was happy to see a very tall giraffe, a big elephant, and a hippo. Now I am going to read this again and you will read it with me. Remember to pause where you see a comma and to stop where you see a full stop. I was happy to see a very tall giraffe, a big elephant, and a hippo. We also saw some farm animals. I played with the baby chicks. While I was looking at the animals, a little monkey came and grabbed my ball. He took it and sat on the wall. Now I am going to read this again and you will read it with me. We also saw some farm animals. I played with the baby chicks. While I was looking at the animals, a little monkey came and grabbed my ball. He took it and sat on the wall. Later, I had a picnic lunch with my friends. We sat under a tree on the green grass. Now, children, I am going to read this again and you will read it with me. Later, I had a picnic lunch with my friends. We sat under a tree on the green grass. Now we have come to the end of our story. I hope that you have enjoyed the story, boys and girls. So now, boys and girls, let us go through the questions which you will need to answer in your workpack. Number 1. Who did Jabu go to the zoo with? Remember, we have discussed this in the picture at the beginning of the story. Number 2. How did they go to the zoo? So here, children, this was discussed at the beginning of the story. Number 3. What did they see? Do you remember what animals we have mentioned in the story? Number 4. What did the monkey grab from Jabu? This was when Jabu played with the baby chicks. Do you remember what the monkey grabbed from Jabu? So, children, you can now answer these questions for your comprehension reading in your workpack. We have come to the end of our lesson.